Yeah, you all had your school days. From your experience, you may have some ideas about the problems that students are likely to face in reading a text. Let us listen to what teacher say about this.
All of you must remember your school days. When you think of school, some of the problems that come up are with children reading texts. Let us ask the teachers about this.
I am teaching 10th class. There are some students in my class who cannot even read words.
What do you do to help them?
I am spending a lot of time teaching them letters and words in the evening.
I am teaching class 6. Some students in my class, they do not know English alphabet.
What do you think is responsible for this state of affairs?
I think they are slow learners.
Are they? Really? What do you do to help them?
I asked some other students in my class to help them.
There are some students in my class who read sentences word by word without knowing the sense of what they read.
How do you think we can address this issue?
I give them textbooks of lower classes to read.
I put the students who cannot read in a lower grade.
Won't this affect their morale?
Quite likely, but there will be an impetus for them to try their level best to learn better.
Okay, from what these teachers have said, we can understand that there can be students in all classes whose proficiency level in reading is very low. Teachers go for various measures to address these issues, but most of the strategies appear to be depriving the learners of the language experience they are to get from their classes along with their peers. We have to work out pedagogical solutions in an inclusive classroom. Well, earlier we saw that reading is preceded by a few pre-reading interactions which culminate in the production of an oral discourse. Could anyone tell the class how the pre-reading activities are going to help the low proficient learners?
So they'll have a fairly good idea of the theme that is dealt with.
Okay. Then?
They also have contributed their ideas related to theme.
Okay.
I think the discussions that have taken place, they will help them to predict about what is going to be read or something.
Yeah, remember that these all are vital inputs to make a better comprehension of the text they have to read. Let us see how these activities can be pedagogically tapped to facilitate reading. We are going to watch a classroom clipping. The students have already produced an oral discourse and the teacher is now interacting with the students based on the textual pictures.
Look at the picture. What are your observations about Nick? Yes, Maheshwari?
Nick was born without arms and legs.
What else can you say about him?
He faced many difficulties.
He faced many difficulties. What else? Yes, sit down, Ashwin.
He could not eat food with his own hands.
He could not eat food with his own hands. Good, sit down. What else?
He could not shake hands with others.
He could not shake hands with others. Yes, Nick was born with no arms and legs and he has faced many difficulties. He couldn't eat his own food. He couldn't shake hands with his friends or his beloved ones. But still, will he overcome these difficulties?
Yes.
How can you say that?
This picture show that Nick can do many things.
Yes, this picture shows that Nick can do many things. Like what? What things he can do?
He can swim.
He can swim.
He can surf.
He can surf. Yes. Anybody else?
He can play golf. He can write.
He can write. Yes, he can swim, he can surf, he can skate, he can play golf, he can write, he can do many more things. Yes?
He likes to live a normal life.
Yes. He likes to live a normal life. Good, Saiteja. Sit down.
He is a fan of many sports.
Good. Sit down.
Yeah. Now, the interaction in this manner can generate several ideas related to a reading passage. These can be written on the board, blackboard. See what the teacher has written on the blackboard. What has been generated in this manner can be called a subtext of the text given for reading. This will provide the gist of the text to those learners who are low proficient in reading. They can locate the sentence in the reading passage that contain the idea written on the blackboard. It is important to notice that we cannot prepare subtext in advance and display in the classroom on a chart, no, because this is to be generated through interaction. What is required from the part of the teacher is sufficient planning, which includes identifying paragraph wise gist of reading passage, checking whether the theme picture interaction can lead to any of these ideas using supplementary pictures if necessary, and forming appropriate questions to elicit the major ideas. If the learner are extremely low proficient, the teacher can help them associate what is written on the chart, what is given in the text. Some of them may even take recourse to graphic reading, but they too will have some understanding about the content of the passage. Yeah, what we have discussed so far has to happen before the individual students start reading the text. We need to give them a few instructions. Let us see what these are.
Now sit in groups and share your ideas and experiences with your friends. Take turns and share one idea that you understood. Read out the sentences that contains that idea. Others can locate it in the text. Complete sharing all the ideas that you were able to understand. Then start sharing the ideas which you have not understood. You may make use of the glossary given in the textbook and also the one displayed on the chart. Finally, share the expressions you like the most. Say why you like them.
Nick was a torso. Though he was a torso, he can do many things like he can play golf, swim and surf, and he is a huge fan of English Premier League.
Did you all share all the ideas? Do you have any problem with any word or sentence? Does anybody want to help them? Yes. Did you complete sharing all the ideas? Yes. Do you have any problem with any sentence or word? The first group is having some problem with a word. Can any other groups help them? Yes. Good.
When a collaborative reading is over, the facilitator asks a few questions related to the passage. These are extrapolative questions that will take the children beyond the reading passage. Let us go back to the classroom. once again.
Do you think any girl will like to marry Nick? Why? Yes, why, Jayanti?
Yes, he can do many things, so definitely girls would like to marry Nick.
Yes. Now, can you find any other evidences from your textbook? Yes, Shivani?
Nick get marriage proposals from women all the time, so he cannot be depressed.
So he cannot be depressed. Any other evidence?
He is a huge fan of the English Premier League. A depressed person cannot be fan of anything.
Yeah, he is a huge fan of English Premier League. So a person who is depressed can't be a fan. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, Vamshi?
In spite of his physical disabilities, he can do many things. Therefore, he cannot be depressed.
Yeah, in spite of his physical disability, he can do many things. How can he be depressed? He is completely occupied with other activities. Good. Any others? Anybody else would like to share? Yes?
He is an evangelical Christian who has absolute faith in God. I don't think who has faith in God will be depressed.
Yeah, he is having a good faith in God, and a person who has faith in God can never be depressed because he knows that God will definitely rescue him. Good. Any other? Yes, Abhishek?
We find a smiling face in the picture, so he may not be depressed.
Yeah, we find a smiling face in the picture, so he is definitely not depressed. Good.
As we have seen in the clipping, we can ask several types of extrapolative questions. Yeah, each question will demand that the students to scan the text again and again and construct their own text from the given text. As per NCF 2005, this is the objective of teaching reading. The facilitator can read the passage aloud, which will help the learner make better sense of reading passage by virtue of the facilitator's voice modulation and the gestures. Moreover, this will serve as a listening input for the learners to sensitize on some of the articulation features also.
Imagine having no arms to stretch in the morning to help you scratch that itch, to allow you to wrap your arms around your loved ones. Imagine having no legs to kick pebbles down the street, to walk or run, to bicycle or skateboard, or get you from point A to from point B.
Let us recapitulate the process of reading. The pre-reading stage, theme-based interaction, production of an oral discourse in the reading part, interaction for generating subtext, giving instructions for individual reading, again individual reading, giving instructions for sharing reading, that is an experience in groups, collaborative reading, checking comprehension, extrapolating the text by virtue of analytical questions, reading aloud by the teacher, of course by the student.